Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Angela. I'm a blogger at Setting My Intention, a blog about clearing clutter, finding joy, and living slow. I recently wrote a blog post on firsts, and that was in relation to my kids going to school, back to school, and dealing with a lot of firsts. And I've had doing Facebook Lives on my monthly intentions for several months now. And so I've decided that there's no more excuses, because I was kind of using the excuse that my kids are home for the summer and it would be too loud and everything like that. So if you can hear me, and that would be great if you could just give a thumbs up. I'm doing this on my computer, and I was going to do it on my phone, but I couldn't get my phone to work. So hopefully you can hear me okay and you can see me okay. I know it's a little dark. So I have some notes, and I'm just going to be going through my notes because I've never done this before, and so I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to be looking down sometimes. So what I'm going to talk about today, and for this series, I want to make this a live series, is talking about an area of shame in terms of decluttering. A lot of you know, if you've been following my blog and reading my blog, in 2015 I started blogging really focused on decluttering, and I was really focusing on my house and doing a before picture one week, and then the next week showing an after photo and sort of how I worked through the process and any thoughts that I had, or reflections that I had. And I've been focusing on our house because it's things that were mine and that I had control over, and and then focusing a little bit on my children's areas too, that I had more ability to work in. But the basement has been our area of shame that I've written about before. The basement is not really my domain, it's my husband's domain, and I've written about it before because we've had some really great success in just doing like really kind of all-day decluttering marathons in there. But it's still in process, definitely. And I really wanted to try and focus on that and encourage others to sort of address the area that's on your back burner. So our house has been such a blessing to us. We moved here in 2006, and it was our first house after spending, I think, like 10 years moving from apartment to different apartment every year. And for 10 years. And, when you move from apartment to apartment, you don't have as much stuff because you don't want to move it. If you know that you're going to move in a year, you don't want to move all that. When we got to our house, it was all empty. We had a huge basement with nothing in it. And I was really excited for my husband to have that space to use. He's an artist and a maker, a creator, and he had a lot of tools and things that he, needed a place for. So stuff just kind of slowly kept coming in without any kind of plan for it. We've lived in our house for 10 years, so a lot of you who know, if you've lived in a place for a long time, stuff just accumulates if you don't have a process to kind of go through it regularly and make sure that you're only keeping things that you really want to keep. So, excuse me. And so we've, all the stuff that he had in other people's basements, they got returned to us. So stuff was accumulating. And then we also, whenever anyone came over or they were going to come over, we would just put everything in a box or a laundry basket and just kind of bring it down to the basement. That was our place where we hid a lot of the stuff. And another huge factor was that when we moved into our house, my father had just died, and within the span of 2 days, we settled on our house, we moved all of our stuff in, and then we flew out the next day to go to my father's funeral. So as you can probably imagine, for the next, several years, I was dealing with a lot of grief as well as 2 young children, and just trying to kind of keep the main things together that needed to get done. And decluttering or organizing or planning for a basement was just kind of the last thing on my mind. And I know a lot of you can relate to that because you have expressed that in my posts before. Things like grief, depression, just normal life, and the accumulation of stuff has made it so that you also have an area of shame. So here are my hopes for this Facebook Live series. I really want you to know that you're not alone. And I've heard from so many people that they also have areas of shame, and that they were thankful that I shared ours. I have pictures of our before that I'll link to that in the comments. And it was just kind of a sigh of relief, like that other people were also in that type of situation. And the other thing that I hope is that it's an invitation for you to tackle your area of shame with me. So I'm going to be posting every week, going on Facebook Live, and I'll choose one small action. And then next week, I'll show you the progress and then commit to another small action. Oops. My battery's low. So I would invite you to do that with me. Let me know in the comments if you have an area of shame that you want to commit to addressing slowly but steadily. And make sure to like and follow this page, and then you'll get notified when I'm live next week. And it'll probably be on Friday in the morning. And also share this with someone who you might know who has an area of shame that they need to address or may want to address at this time. All right, thanks guys. So I'm Angela from Setting My Intention, and I'll catch you next week.